Chester Borrows.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to take a call in this debate and want to thank members of the Justice and Electoral Committee. This is the 13th bill that we've returned to the House this term, and the work of that committee, the collaboration and the willingness to get good results for the people of New Zealand on that committee is reflected in that number. This bill, as has well been outlined by the Minister in introduction and by the previous Speaker, the Honourable David Parker, went through a number of concerns and issues raised by members of the public and learned submitters. We took all of those submissions seriously and received further advice and went to a number of other areas to seek advice on those matters that were raised. It amalgamates the three electoral agencies that currently exist into one for the reasons well outlined by the previous Speaker. That new Electoral Commission is going to be an independent Crown entity, in spite of a number of submissions suggesting that that person should be an officer of the Parliament. What the bill seeks to do is to overcome current issues around duplications of work, the confusion that there is with overlapping jurisdictions, the increased costs in having to deal with different government agencies around the same issue of elections, and the removal of the complexity for stakeholders, being political parties, being voters, being policy groups and pressure groups and candidates which are list and constituency within the framework as it currently stands. The submissions were very technical, and we appreciate the fact that submitters have gone to the trouble they had in firstly researching their well-worded submissions, but also in the way that they were spoken to in front of the committee. In any event, we have ended up reporting back with the only two significant matters really, apart from the way that the bill arrived with us, and of course one of those was to confirm the independent Crown entity status of the new Commission, but secondly the way in which the Commissioners will be appointed on a basis of consensus rather than having the Minister make a flat decision having discussed the matter. And I believe that it is important for the integrity of future elections for that to have the consensus from around the House and the various parties to not only have the ability to be consulted but to consent on who that person, who that Commissioner would be. So I commend the bill to the House and thank the committee for their work. Thank you.
Lynn Pillay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I, along with my colleagues, really happy to take a call on this bill, and I want to acknowledge and confirm the points that Chester Burrows made about the very hard-working Justice and Electoral Select Committee, and indeed this bill was no exception. That certainly there was a lot of work done and a lot of scrutiny, and I think much of it really around the status of the new Commission. The issue of actually having a commission in one entity has actually been, I think, for probably having sat on Justice and Electoral, has always been something that's been seen as the best way forward, and indeed there have been many people who have lobbied about what a good idea it would be, and I think it is something that has always been the intention. So on this occasion I will actually commend the government. I think that it is very sensible, but at the same time I want to I want to acknowledge the agencies who have worked so hard and have done so much work around our elections that whilst I certainly didn't like the result of the last one, and indeed most New Zealanders don't now, but that I do want to acknowledge the work that was done by those agencies, the Chief Electoral Officer, and indeed we did have assistance from David Henry during our consideration, the Electoral Commission, and also the Office of the Chief Registrar of Electors through the Electoral Enrolment Centre. So it's a really good chance at this time, Mr. Speaker, to acknowledge all the work that they do, because living in a democracy, and this is something, apart from some of the things that certainly causes some concern, and that's participation not by the agencies themselves, but the way third parties tend to get involved in election campaigns that are perhaps not something that we in New Zealand feel proud of, and certainly the other side of the House should feel really ashamed of it. But we're not here to talk about that negative stuff today, Mr. Speaker. We're here to talk about the good work that those agencies have done throughout numerous elections. And I don't think anyone of this House, save a few glitzes or a few things that happen from time to time, but no one would question the commitment of those agencies. And indeed that going forward to having one electoral agency that will be in place for the next election in 2011, that agency in place, we will then have one commission, and the duplication, the confusion which can arise when you have three agencies will certainly not be such a challenge. So I think that certainly we on this side of the House are looking forward to the next election, very much so, and very much so. We're really looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to it being run in such a way. Oh, a little bit of passion, bring it on. Looking forward to that election being run in such a way that we celebrate the democracy that we have in New Zealand. Goodness, I think I've woken the opposition up. As others have said before me, Mr. Speaker, most of the bill is a technical bill, and indeed most of the discussions were very technical. And I want to acknowledge the really, really excellent submissions that the committee received. We from individuals, but also from the previous executive of the Electoral Commission, the former clerk of the House of Representatives, David McGee, played a really key role in giving us really, really constructive advice. And of course, Professor Andrew Geddes, who's renowned for his knowledge and has indeed always played a very constructive role in terms of other submissions that the Justice and Electoral